What's going on, everybody? Woohoo! Yeah. All right. Welcome to the Watchtower podcast. We are here. As some of you are pointing out in the chat, yes, we are unfortunately still here. We are getting closer, that is for sure. But man, it is getting hard out there. I don't know about you guys. But that's what we're going to do tonight, though. We're going to take a look at what's going on, some of the signs that brings us ever closer to the returning of our Lord, and so hopefully that brings us some encouragement on what's going on out there if you're struggling or having hard times and whatnot. So don't let this, what the world would say is doom and gloom, bad news, be a discouragement. Let it be an encouragement. As we know, like I always say, the worse the world gets, the closer we are to going home. So glad you guys could join me tonight, though. Glad you are here. The usual stuff. Make sure you like, share, subscribe the video, all that stuff. Make sure you subscribe on my other channels on Rumble, Odyssey, and Telegram. Just in case, YouTube starts battening down the hatches with censorship and taking channels down, which we seem to believe is going to be coming here rather soon. I will be on Rumble and Odyssey to replace YouTube. And then, of course, Telegram. I post a lot of exclusive and breaking news on there that you just cannot find on my channels. So make sure that you're on there. I've been covering what's been going on with Russia, Ukraine, Poland, NATO, all that stuff that's been happening today. We'll talk a little bit about it today. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I'll give you guys an update on what I have found out. But make sure you're on my Telegram doing that. Also, make sure, or not make sure, but also, if you feel led to, if you want to, there are donation links down below. If you feel led to give to this ministry and help me out and help out the channel. So those are down below if you want to do that as well. I think that's all the announcements I got on that, but we've got the chat here. So we've got the usual suspects. Kim is here. Yes, we are still here, unfortunately. It looks like not of this world has the same sentiment. Lisa's here. Made it tonight. Glad that you are here. Glad you guys are here with me on this Tuesday. So, we've got a lot to talk about. Like I said, we're going to kind of talk about a little bit of what's going on with the Poland thing. We'll discuss that. We're also going to talk about what's going on with some economy stuff. And then we're not going to do a full-on deep dive into it because there's just way too much to get into. But I'm going to cover a couple of things that were talked about at COP27. I believe it's still going on. It's going to end in a couple days, I think. But we're going to talk about some of the stuff going on with that. So that is going to be our, I don't want to say the word agenda. I hate that word. Usually it's something bad with it. But those are our talking points, our subjects that we're going to talk about tonight. And looks like we've got Davis in the chat. Hello, hello. Hopefully you are having a good day today on this Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. We do this every Tuesday, but I forget it's Tuesday every time. So either way, glad you're here, Davis. Hopefully you're having a good day. So, okay. So we're just going to go ahead and start with what's going on with the Poland stuff. I don't have any notes on this, so I'm just gonna go off my brain here, which that's always scary. So if you haven't noticed or paid attention, or you've been living under a rock, or you dropped ice cream like Biden does all the time, that was a low shot. I usually refrain from doing anything like that. I apologize. Either way, there's been a couple of missiles that have landed in Poland territory and killed 2 people. So with this, there is a lot of information, a lot of disinformation. Yes, legitimate disinformation going on about this. There's a lot of confusion, which we know when it comes to stuff like this. This is what they want. They want confusion. What we do know for sure is there were explosions in Poland. There's video showing explosions, multiple angles of video that are showing explosions. And we have NATO who has invoked Article 4, which it's not Article 5. Article 4 is the gathering of NATO ambassadors together to meet on a concern that another NATO country has, whether it's something, just anything really. And in this case, it would be, is Poland being attacked? They invoked that. That's going to take place tomorrow. We've got other world leaders and stuff meeting right now. I actually think the U.S. is meeting with other world leaders right now as we do this. I think that's going on. But it's possible that this could kick something off. It's possible. Not saying it's going to happen. We've seen escalatory. Is that even a word? I don't know. I'm going to roll with it. If it's not, I just made it up, put it in the dictionary. They seem to do that with a bunch of other words that don't make any sense. Anyways, this is possible that it's an escalatory. We've seen escalatory events where nothing seems to happen from it. This could very well be a false flag. We know that the supposed wreckage that they have found of these rockets are S-100, 300. It's either S-100 or 300. I can't remember the exact thing. If you don't know anything about me, when it comes to numbers, I kind of have like a dyslexia thing, only with numbers. So I'm terrible with numbers. But I think it's S-300, which both Ukraine and Russia use them. But Poland is saying that it was the Russian version of the thing. 300, thank you, not this world. So we don't know. We don't know who did it. We don't know what's going to happen. Like the Nord Stream attack and everything like that, I'm just going to reiterate, at this point, it really does not matter who is doing what. The only thing that matters is the response that's going to come from it. And so we have to wait and see what the response is going to be coming from this. So that's what's going on with that. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Like I said, there's a lot of detail and a lot of information out there that is not right. When I was trying to update you guys on Telegram, I would be typing out a message, and then before I would send it, I'd go and look something up. Something changed, and I was either editing what I was sending or I wasn't sending it at all. It's just there's a lot of stuff going on with that, so we've got to be careful on what information's coming either way. And for some reason my computer is acting up again. Hopefully it settles down and it stays good. So, but that's what's going on with that. So tomorrow is going to be the NATO Article 4 meeting, and they could decide to invoke Article 5, which that would be the war trigger that would get things going. So I will update you guys as much as I can on that. I'll do the best I can as far as that goes, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Either way, we know Zelensky is wherever he's at, sitting there pounding the table, saying, NATO, get into this war. So, Zelensky, you are a fine actor, my friend. You are a fine actor. I will tell you that much. So, all right, we're going to move on from that because we got a lot of other stuff to cover, and I've pretty much hammered that to death in the Telegram. I apologize for just flooding you guys with stuff on Telegram. There was a couple days there where there really wasn't anything to say, and then today, floodgates opened. Okay, so let's move on to what's going on with some of the economy stuff. We're going to take a look at what's going on with tech layoffs, because tech layoffs are getting really, really bad right now, and of course the mainstream media is not covering it. So there's a tracker. It's called layoffs.fyi. It's a tracker that they do for covering tech layoffs. And this past, I believe it's this past quarter. I think it's this past quarter. We've got a giant list of layoffs that are taking over right now. So we've got Meta and Facebook that just laid off 11,000 people, which is 13%. We've got Twitter that laid off 3.7 thousand people. That's 50%. Intel, they laid off 20% of their staff. We have no idea how many people that is. Snap, which is Snapchat, and they have a couple other apps that they do. They laid off 20%. We don't have official numbers on that. Netflix laid off 450 people. Robinhood, which is a trading app, they laid off 30%. Don't have official number. Stripe, which is like a tax payment type of thing. A lot of apps do payments through Stripe. They laid off 13%, no official number. Lyft laid off 13%, no official number. Salesforce, I don't know who Salesforce is. Sorry. They laid off 2,000 people. And Amazon, which was the latest one, they laid off 10,000 people. So far, it's estimated that we are sitting at 120,000 layoffs this year so far. It's still only November. And if you compare that to what happened in the dot-com crash, which was 2000, 2001, layoffs were at 107,000. So we've already surpassed that dot-com crash. Quarter four layoffs are just beginning. Just beginning. So there's going to be more coming. The big one to pay attention to on this is Amazon, because we're seeing Amazon is laying people off, and they're reducing their warehouse real estate. We've got FedEx, who is putting freight drivers and warehouse workers on furlough, and they're parking their planes, their shipping planes. We've got UPS that came in with a very just flat earnings. They didn't go negative, but they went super flat. All during what would be peak season. This is peak shipping and retail season. We're getting into the holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, yada, 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 all that stuff. And so right now, these companies should be going up. They should be making a lot of money. They should be hiring people, all this stuff. But no, they're laying off people, and they're turning their planes and their trucks off and everything like that. So that's giving you an idea. And we continue to see, inflation's going down and the job numbers are going up and No, those are completely manipulated. If you haven't figured that out yet, they're completely manipulated. I actually posted something on my Telegram with the little help of Samuel L. Jackson explaining what is going on with that. So check that out if you haven't already. But it's not good. It's not good for the economy. Good for us, Christians, because we know what this is leading to, which means we get to go home. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really banking on going home. Some other things going off. If we take a trip across the pond, take a look at what Europe is doing. We're doing a lot of Europe watching because right now they're the ones that is going to set all of this off. They're way far gone. There's no turnaround point for them, and they're the ones that is going to just start this whole kit and caboodle. So we do a lot of Europe watching right now. We take a look at what's going on in the UK, and basically they said a recession is guaranteed, and the Bank of England, which is their central bank over there, estimates at least 500,000 job losses as we progress from here. That runs on the back of the EU that basically said the recession is here, which we know when they say recession, say it with me, class, they mean depression. So EU says the depression is here. Inflation is here to stay, and it has not peaked yet, which, yeah, we know that. In the Eurozone, which is all the countries that use the euro, the Eurozone economic growth has been slashed to 0 for 2023. So Europe they're basically saying what we've known all along, as they said, it's happening. What everybody was saying was going to happen. It's happening. Then you take a look at some of the follow-up stuff coming with that. You've got Sunak and Jeremy Hunt, which Jeremy Hunt is the finance minister. He's also another WEF boy. Both of them are planning to, and they're puppeteers, are planning to reveal a tax raid on pension funds this month. Told you guys they're going after pensions. They're going after pensions. They're going after Social Security. Told you it was happening. Told you it was coming. And so they're planning a tax raid on pension funds this month. Basically, they will freeze pension lifetime allowance until at least 2027. This is an extension on one that Rishi Sunak already put into place when he was finance minister. And so they're extending that to at least 2027, and there's going to be a forecast of at least £1 billion that will be taken out of pensions and added to the UK Treasury. It's all a money laundering scheme. Everything that we're seeing right now is a money laundering scheme. They're just sucking up all of that money from everybody else to put into what they're doing. And Prince Charles said it at the COP26. They're going to pool their resources together. Well, the resources are you and what you own. That's their resources. And so they're basically, this is going to take £1 billion out of pensions into the UK Treasury, and they're going to drastically reduce the purchasing power of retirees. You're better off taking that money and putting it under your mattress. Just saying. Just saying. So that's some of the stuff going on with the economy. There's a bunch of other stuff going on. There's a massive thing going on with crypto and FTX and BlockFi and crypto.com and all that stuff. I am not going to get into that right now. There's still a lot of stuff happening, and if something, I mean, it's significant, but if something significant, you know what I mean, happens, I will make sure that I let you guys know. But keep them, if you have heard that, I am following it. I'll let you know if anything big comes from that, because there's a lot of WEF shadow government involved with that. A lot of people who know a lot of people doing a lot of things. There's really no other way to explain that right now. Anyways, we're going to move on. Let's take a look at some of the natural events going on. Okay, I've got a list of earthquakes. The earth has been rocking this past week. I mean, it's like the Lord took the earth and put it in like a cup, like a Yahtzee cup. You know what I'm talking about? That's just sorry. Just he's shaking the earth a lot. We'll just go with that. So here we go. Here's what we got. We got a 6.8 quake in the Fiji Islands, followed by a 7.0 quake in the Fiji Islands, and then that was followed by a 6.6 quake also in the Fiji Islands. There was some other minor aftershocks that were happening from that, but those are the big ones. 5.6 quake in Marotta, Italy. 5.7 quake in Dipalia, Nepal. 7.3 quake in Niafu, Tonga. That was the big one. 5.8 quake in Masagua. I think that's how you pronounce it. Masagua, Guatemala. 7.0 quake in Levuka, Fiji. So another area of Fiji got hit. 6.2 quake in Lebu, Chile. 5.7 quake in Lebu, Chile. And then Fiji again with a 6.1 quake in the Fiji Islands. And then a 6.1 quake in Toba, Japan. Those are a lot for a week. That is a lot. I try and cover all the 5.5 and up. And so, like I said, the earth was shaken compared to the past couple of weeks that's been going on with earthquakes. So as far as volcanoes, we got 44 volcanoes erupting as of Sunday, which means we lost another one. I actually have some news on where these are at. 13 of those are in the Asia area. 9 are in the North America. 8 are in the Oceania. 6 are in the South America. 4 in the Africa zone. 3 in the Antarctic zone. And 1 in the Europe area. 35 of those 44 are located along the Ring of Fire. So that's what's going on with the natural events. And then if you haven't noticed, Nicole hit Florida. I'm hearing it wasn't as bad as the last one, but there was a lot of damage still done. So Florida got hit on both sides. So be praying for those in Florida as well. So yeah, so that's natural events. So gonna move on from there. Okay. Yes. All right. So we're gonna talk. Pretty much the rest of this is going to be about some of the stuff going on with COP27. I know a lot of people, a lot of prophecy guys and whatnot have been talking about it all week long and everything. Hopefully I've got some new information for you that you haven't seen, that you don't know of. I got quite a few clips I'm going to show you, video clips with some of this stuff going on. And then also I'm going to make sure that not only am I going to talk about some of the stuff with COP, but only talk about some of the programs that they didn't talk about there that are going to work in line with what they have been talking about. So we're going to cover a lot of that stuff. Like I said, I'm not covering the whole thing. There's a lot of stuff out there on this, but this is some of it. So COP27 has been taking place, and basically They are announcing that they are replacing the global financial system with a new economic system. I know there's some headlines out there that said they're replacing capitalism and whatnot. Technically, they are, but they're replacing the whole global system, and the entire world doesn't run on capitalism. There's other systems out there. They're going to replace it all. The whole thing is getting shaken up, and they're bringing in the fourth industrial revolution, of course. The Antichrist one world economy. That is what they are bringing in. WEF President Bjorg Brande. I'm not sure how to pronounce some of those European names like that. I apologize. Whenever I see Brande, though, I think of Brondo has what plants crave. I think that's like the second time I've used that joke in 1 month. That's crazy. Anyways, points if you know what movie that's from. But WEF President Brand, we're just going to say Brand, and John Kerry, and of course other advisors and counselors and whatnot, said that it is urgent for the private sector to pair with the government to combat climate change. So this is something that we know has been going on. I mean, they've talked about it and whatnot. This is nothing really special going on, but basically they're just reiterating that climate change is going to be the thing that shifts in this great reset, that shifts in this Antichrist system that they're working on. Now, if you remember Prince Charles back at COP26 meeting, he talked about private sectors combining with governments and pooling resources to achieve it. So they're again reiterating, talking about how they need to get the private sector on board to do it this, whether it's through blackmail, through promotion, through reward, through anything like that. They're going to get the private companies, the private sectors, all of them on board with this. Play the game or you're out of here. That's what they're doing. That's what they've been doing with the ESG thing. Play our game where we're pulling all of our investment out of you and you will go bankrupt. So they're just reiterating basically what Prince Charles said at COP26. Kerry also promoted the WEF's First Movers Coalition. Honestly, this is actually the first time I've heard this group. I guess it's been around, but I've never actually heard of this group. So, yeah, I don't know everything, guys. That may come as a shock. No. But the First Movers Coalition is basically a program built to pull private companies into the climate agenda. So this is kind of like, I guess the best thing that you can compare it to is like their private military type of thing, where they're mafia, where they're going to come in and pay us for protection type of thing. So this is that group that goes in and makes sure these companies play the game. Their goal is to create problems where none exist to allow them to further their agenda. So they're going in, they're starting issues, they're starting fires, and they're basically saying, oh, look over there, there's a fire. We need you to play along with the climate change in order to fix said fire. So that's their goal with this coalition that they're doing, creating problems so they will use the solution that they're offering. And that's anything from medical to electric cars, meats and foods, energy, currency, social credit, the smart city program, and even religion. And this is the big one that I think everybody knows about. A lot of people have talked about it. I'm not going to get, like I said, in depth with it, but I'm going to let you know some of those things that I have found that were quite interesting. The religion side of what they're doing is the COP27 is pushing a one world green religion, a climate religion, with Mother Earth being the focus as the goddess, and 10 new climate commandments. This was the big thing that people were talking about all week. Whoa. Can you guys hear that? Wow, that was weird. It sounded like it. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but it just sounded like a bunch of steam was just released, but it sounded like it was in my apartment, but I don't know what that would have been unless that was my computer, which pray for my computer that it wasn't my computer that was doing that. I apologize on that. Hopefully you guys can still hear me and see me. I don't know what that was. Anyways, moving on from that, I don't know what that was. That scared me to death, though. So they're doing this new religion, this based on Mother Earth and the 10 new climate commandments that's going on. And so basically, this is okay. See, it says I'm all good. So okay, good. All right. that really scared me. I didn't know what was going on. That was weird. Okay, so basically, this is I've talked about it all the time. Mystery religion comes in the forms of the feminine side of things. She's everywhere. She's swelling Mother Earth. I've talked about how Mother Earth, how people worship the earth, the tree huggers, and stuff like that. That's a part of it, and they're going to be bringing that into what is going on with the climate thing. They're pushing, just the planet is our goddess, and we are one with the planet type of thing. So they're pushing this. And something that happened at COP27 that was very interesting was a multi-faith group, one world religion, pushing unity, all of that stuff right there, met at Mount Sinai, that's right, and literally smashed stones together to reenact the Ten Commandments. Moses, the Bible story, and how we got those commandment tablets. They went there and they really did this type of this act, this ritual, so to say, to basically try and christen these new climate 10 commandments. And somebody from that multi-faith group actually said a prayer while they were there, and somebody said the prayer of, Creator of the universe, send us a sign that we should proceed with the climate covenant, the 10 climate commandments here at Mount Sinai during COP27. So they were they were literally praying to whoever they believe in to show them a sign that they should bring in these new commandments. It's also worthy to note that they just not too long ago, the Georgia Guidestones were just destroyed, which had their own list of stuff. It sounds like they're maybe replacing that, bringing in this new thing. It's very interesting how that is all flowing together. As far as these 10 commandments goes, I was trying to find what they were, and I swear I went across like 6 different lists of these 10 commandments that people are claiming those were the ones at the thing. I don't know what's real and what's not. I'm not going to read you a fake list. I actually have quite a few here that I actually scratched out, and I'm not going to read them because I don't want to give you the wrong ones and whatnot. But I've seen like 6 different lists. Nobody really has, that I've seen, an official list of what these commandments are. So until that point, I'm just going to have to leave you hanging because I don't want to give you bad information. Either way, it sounds like this is a legit thing that's been going on. Now, this interfaith group included religious leaders from Israel, including a Vatican ambassador to Israel. So there's Catholic involved, Israel involved. We know Israel is going to be blinded and they're going to be deceived by the false Messiah. Then also other ones, there was the Interfaith Center for Sustainable Development. Then there was the Elijah Interfaith Institute and the Peace Department. All of these people, these interfaiths, just some of the stuff that they believe in, they all got together and were basically christening and accepting and promoting for this new climate religion that they've been doing. On the youth side, because they were having side events for the youth over there, the youth side event where the audience, there's a youth side event where the audience was told to meditate for 1 minute on this thing that they had on their screen. This thing on their screen said, everything around me is absorbing peace, including the sky, the oceans, the trees, the people, the wildlife, the buildings, and everything radiating peace. This is the spiritual, we're all one, we're all connected to the earth, we're all at peace with each other. This is pushing that spiritual side of things. When people say, oh, well, I'm spiritual, this is usually what they're pointing at. And so after they meditated on this thing for a minute, they were instructed to open their eyes and they were asked, "So how do you feel?" And the entire audience erupted in applause. The entire audience erupted in applause after that. This is the youth side. They're pushing this on the kids. And then at the end of this whole event, this whole youth event, the last speaker summed up the event by saying, "Earth is a living being, and we connect to our ancestors, our responsibilities, and connect to her. We are to listen to her because she speaks." Her. Who do you think her is? Don't make me have to bring up the ruler now. You know exactly who her is. This is what's going on. This is what's getting pushed. This is happening now in the government side of things. We knew the satanic government stuff was going on. But now they're pushing this, at the COP27, and they're pushing it on the kids. Now, one of the things that I wanted to focus on with the COP was they made an extensive effort to go after the youth. They're going after kids, of course, but they're mainly going after the teenagers and the college kids. And they are pushing it hard on this one. And because of that, you would think that Greta Thunberg would be a part of this. Well, they have upgraded, so to say. The UN has brought in what I call Greta 2.0. I've got a video of this. I was supposed to have this ready by now, but I do not, so I'm just going to awkwardly talk until I get it ready. So Greta wasn't there. They pretty much used her. They realized that she's become as bad as it sounds, and I'm not saying you should, but she's become a laughing stock. Nobody takes her serious. Everybody makes fun of her. Yes, she is still a child, but you can't hold it against her. She was programmed that way. This poor child was programmed to do what she was doing. Well, they've got a new upgraded model. Before I even talk about it, just here's part of her speech at this thing.
The fast fashion industry has become part of the fossil fuel industry because we are literally wearing oil. If there's one thing that my generation knows how to use well, it's social media platforms like TikTok. A lot of people spend hours a day on it. And we're being brainwashed by brands through these platforms.
Meet Greta 2.0, and you will notice that she's going straight after what you think that she would be going after. The fashion industry. She's talking about things like TikTok and social media platforms. This tactic with using her this is how you draw in the teenagers and the youth. So this is 20-year-old Instagram influencer Sophia I practiced her name before I even started this thing, and now I can't get it right. Kiani. There it is. Sophia Kiani. Terrible names, guys. That's right. 20-year-old Instagram influencer Sophia Kiani. Now, I want to focus on her. You might be thinking, why on earth are you talking about her? Because I want to talk about, like I said, the focus on the youth side. They are indoctrinating the kids. They're going after the kids. They're doing the same thing with the transgender stuff, the gay stuff. They're pushing that on the kids. They're going after kids. Well, they're going to do the same thing with the climate stuff. They want these kids to conform to the climate agenda. They want these kids to conform to the new religion that they're pushing. They want kids to be a part of this. And so that's why we're going to talk about this. And she fits the bill. She's got the nice clothes. She's attractive. She's big on the the social media stuff, Instagram, TikTok, and stuff. She's got a lot of followers. Of people follow her just because she's one of those people that fits that mold of nowadays. People are addicted to TikTok and Instagram, exactly like she said. She said it. People spend hours a day on that. And the thing is she's talking about how the youth is being brainwashed. I agree with her. Just not in the sense that it's being brainwashed against climate stuff. The kids are being brainwashed to conform to what's going on with this. Now, she has the look and the speech that would be used to bring aboard countless youth to join her agenda. Now, if you go and take a look at the background that she's in, she's actually a part of the advisory boards to the UN, the New York Times, the World Economic Forum, the American Lung Association, Extinction Rebellion, which I talked about Extinction Rebellion. They're a part of the Just Stop Oil group, the ones that are throwing all the paint and the food on all the paintings and stuff in Europe and everything. She's on the advisory board for that. She's also on the advisory board for PBS NewsHour, Climate Cardinals, and This Zero Hour. She also is a speaker at COP27, the UN, the UNICEF, ICSD, Climate Hub, Stanford College, Berkeley College, Harvard College, Duke College, Columbia College, Emory College, and Yale College. She's going to all the colleges. She's getting the college kids on board. They are using this girl to just indoctrinate the youth, to indoctrinate the kids. She's also won awards with Teen Vogue, Unidays, BuzzFeed, Vice, and others. Those are all usually outlets for young adults they visit, unfortunately. But she's a part of that. They're getting her name out there. They're getting this person out there to get the youth to follow her and what she wants. They're using her. Now, again, I bring this up because she's being used to attract the thousands and thousands of teenagers and college kids into this agenda. She's also got quite the connection with some of the names many of you will recognize. Clinton, Gates, Bush, all that stuff. Check this out. Yeah, she's in the position she's in because she is best friends with Bill Gates' daughter, Phoebe Gates. That's why she's in the position she's in. She's been indoctrinated since she was a kid, just like Greta was. You will notice that she's connected to Hillary Clinton, the Bush family, the Gates family, all of that stuff. She's been pushed out there as the youth follow me type of girl. I mean, she fits perfectly in this, and she's pushing heavily the agenda that they want them to push. So I want you to be aware of this person, because right now our kids are directly under attack. Not our kids. I don't have kids. But you know what I mean. The children, the little ones out there are being directly attacked, heavily under the influence, and they know no bounds on how to get to the kids. Satan holds no punches, and he's going to do everything that he possibly can to get the kids. So that's some of the stuff that's been going on with that part of COP27. They are, I mean, I've looked at the past couple of these events, and there has been nowhere near the push to go after the kids and the youth and all that stuff like they have been this year. They are holding, like I said, holding no punches. And so that's one of the aspects. Now, another aspect that they're pushing, and I mean, they were pushing it big this year, and that is carbon currency. They are officially telling us that carbon will be a currency. This is one that I've been talking about for a very long time. I've been warning people. A lot of people are looking for the one world currency to be an actual currency, a coin or something like that. I've kind of taken over the position of I think it's going to be this carbon system that they do, because you can control literally everything. Even if there's 500 different currencies around the world, you can control everything with just this one carbon credit currency that they're talking about. If you don't believe me, here is Michael Sharon, who is talking about the carbon currency.
So central banks are also starting to understand nature has real value. Carbon, we already figured out. And carbon is moving very quickly into a system where it's going to be very close to a currency. Basically being able to take a ton of absorbed or sequestered carbon and being able to create a forward pricing curve with financial service architecture, documentation. I just came out of a meeting this morning how we're trying to accelerate that. To be quite honest, not to get very boring, but we're on financial topics and things, but they're going to be derivatives. And you need ISDA documentation if you want to trade a derivative in the marketplace. And all of this actually matters for nature as well. So how do we, and I'm hoping this discussion today, at least from a central banker's point of view, on how do we start tokenizing, how do we start building systems that actually create not only the value, but transfer that value around the world.
So, if you don't know who that is, like I said, that is Michael Sharon. He's a former Bank of England senior advisor. Bank of England is the central bank over there. And G20 co-chairman. He just said carbon is moving into a system where it will be close to a currency. We've seen the progress and the push, the small steps they've been taking to to bring in this type of system, and now they are blatantly telling it to your face that this is what we're doing. We are bringing in carbon as the currency. This is what's going on, and this is going to work in tandem with the central bank digital currency, which we have seen them use, testing this all over the place. I was going to talk about that this week, but there's just not enough time. I don't want to keep you guys here forever. But I will talk about that next week. I promise I'm going to talk about all these banks. I mean, it's basically getting ready. They're getting ready to roll it out like quick. So I'll talk about that next week. I just don't have enough time, but they're telling you that the central bank digital currency and this carbon currency, they are going to work in tandem. I've been warning about this, saying that it is the one world currency, and it's the carbon credit itself. Again, I'm not going to say for sure that's what it is, but it's just right now there's just way too much stuff that is pointing in that direction. So that's just how I'm thinking. And he's even talking about tokenizing things like water and trees. So they're going to tokenize just basic earth necessities, pretty much. This speech came during the Digital Environment Assets Programmable Money and the Future of Climate Finance side event. So as you know, they have a bunch of side events. We just talked about the youth one. Well, now this is a part of the Digital Environment Assets financial stuff, how it all works together. This event is for pushing central bank digital currencies and carbon credits using tokenizing environmental assets through blockchain technology. So that is what we're seeing with the crypto and the Bitcoin and stuff, that uses blockchain technology. That's going to be a part of this. We've talked a bunch about that. Not going to get into that. Sharon here stepped down from the Bank of England into, if you want to know a little bit about what he's involved with, he stepped down from the Bank of England. That was this year. And he's now president of Metaverse Green Exchange. He oversees Metaverse tech and objects and also owns the tech, or owns a patent on tech, which features carbon neutrality tokens. And basically what that means is to facilitate cross-border trading of carbon credits. So he knows a thing or two about what's going on with this carbon currency. It's not good. Not good for the world. It's great for us because it means we're getting that much closer. And oh my, look who it is. It is Sarah. We have not seen you in a while. Good to see you. I've been having to work every Tuesday. I'm on vacation this week. Well, it's great to see you, Sarah. Glad you're here. I was wondering where you've been. You're one of the regulars. So glad you're here tonight, though. Good to see you. So that's what's going on with that. Now, this also flows, this carbon credit agenda, the CBDC, all that stuff agenda flows into the apps, the payment cards, the technology, and even the menu prices we've been talking about. Remember those menu prices I told you were in Ireland, where it's not only showing a monetary amount, but it's also showing the carbon price as well. They are not hiding it. They're not hiding it anymore like they were before. Check this out. This is kind of an interesting video on this.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Yeah. So the programs that we've seen, the programs that they've been testing, that they've been working on, all the programs that we've been talking about, the carbon trackers, the carbon footprint stuff, keeping tabs of what you're buying, how you're buying, what does it do, and all that stuff. They're telling us now. I mean, this is stuff that we've been following for several years, but they haven't come out and told us what they are doing. Well, now they're doing it, which tells us one thing. They are very close to launching this stuff, because they would not be telling us like this unless they got this thing about ready to go. And it's talking about, your carbon footprint tracker is going to keep tabs on how you travel, where you travel, the food that you're eating and stuff. I mean, they want to control your life. And we know that's going to happen with that mark of the beast that comes in. It's going to control your life. Now, that was Michael Evans, who is president of Alibaba, or Alibaba, however you want to pronounce it, that was telling you about that. And he also said, it's not ready yet. Well, that's a lie. It is ready. They've been rolling it out in a lot of different places. We know that it's ready. So that was a lie. Obviously, this will be built into the social credit score system. This is what they've been working on. Your carbon credit is going to be a part of the social credit score. If you have if you've been spending too much carbon credit, it's going to reduce your social credit score. We're cutting you off. You're not going to be able to buy anything. That's how that's going to go with that. Now we look at what's going on as a result of the system. The UK has this thing called the Nudge Unit that's being implemented by the UK government, working with the banks over there. It is a social credit score disguised as a carbon tracker. That's what's going on with this. This service is called Kago. It's, like I said, it's carbon impact platform being provided for mobile banking apps that will notice where you're spending money and will inform you of more climate-friendly options. Just like, this sounds a lot like that Better Points system that we were talking about, right? They tested it out in the UK, Sunderland, and the Warwick district. This Kago, I don't know how they pronounce that. Well, this carbon platform that they're working on, just like Better Points, is a behavioral change platform. They talk about how this is to change behavior. This is the social engineering. They want to program your mind of this new thing. Like I said, it's like if you're trying to train a dog with tricks, you give it treats and it learns type of thing. Well, that's what they're doing with this. The program also offers a carbon footprint tracker so you can see just how detrimental you are to the planet. Oh, no, you're hurting the planet too much, so we're going to make you feel bad doing it. So not only are they offering rewards, but now they're offering you with guilt. They're hitting you with the guilt. The banks that offer this platform, they say offer, but it's involved no matter what. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. The banks that are on this are NatWest, RBS, Couts, Westpac, Commonwealth Bank, the Cumberland, ING, Ulster Bank, ISB, MasterCard, Santander, Kiwi Bank, and OTP Bank. That is a lot of institutions that are implementing this thing. But remember, he just said, oh, it's not ready yet. Garbage. It's definitely ready. They're just putting in the fine details on it and getting people programmed to use it. The tracker is embedded into the app and will analyze your monthly transactions by industry category. So like grocery, energy, transportation, all that stuff. It'll put it into different categories and will give you your emissions reports or your score. If you take a look at the pictures that they do, I can play video, but I can't show you pictures. Sorry, guys. But if you look at the picture, it looks just like your credit score. You know how it has like the different numbers with the red, yellow, green type of thing? It's the same thing, just with carbon. I mean, that's a social credit score going on with that. Remember, again, the carbon prices of those Ireland menus, it's now in the UK. So what do I mean by that? The UK's nudge unit is now coming into play by partnering, like I said, with Cargo, whatever, on helping banks push this on to people with psychological and behavioral programming. The nudge unit was formed during the pandemic for reasons. So this nudge unit in the UK that they're using to push this carbon thing to change behavioral and program psychological stuff with people was founded during the pandemic. I wonder why they would need that type of group during the pandemic. I don't know. Stay at home, wear a mask, vitamins. They're going to be using the same tactics, the same type of group to get people to do this carbon thing. The app is also active by sending push messages at points of purchases called Carbon Feedback Alert. They're guilt bombs. So when you go and you buy something, it's going to send you a message saying you just used this much carbon to buy with what you just purchased. It's a guilt bomb. They're trying to make you feel bad for purchasing something. And so they're also working on a green bank card that is being planned where if you keep your carbon footprint below a certain threshold, you'll receive rewards and discounts. Sure sounds a lot like, again, the Better Points system where they're trying to give a dog a treat. I mean, they're pushing this stuff, guys. They are pushing this. Using the self-made energy crisis and blackout threats. The UK... a UK company called Equiwatt, I think that's how I pronounce it, launched a new app. So we've got the bank app, we've got the green bank card, and now they're talking about Equiwatt for energy stuff. They're going after the energy. This tracker app connects to your smart meter and will reward you with cash incentives for staying under the kilowatt target. Most of the people that watch, I believe, are in the US. How many of you have been switched out to a smart meter on your house? Well, this is why they're doing that. This isn't about getting a better reading on how much electricity you're using. They want the smart meters on people's homes so they can start doing these carbon trackers because it's coming here soon. I know a lot of people are thinking, why are you talking about this? This is in Europe. It's not going to be coming for a long time. Da, da, da. Well, these are still signs. Even if we're not going to be here to see this stuff. Even if we're not here to see this type of type of thing being implemented. These are still signs. They are getting these things prepared for that Antichrist beast system that they're working on. This is what is happening. This is real. And so what you're seeing in Europe, they're already putting these tracker apps and stuff that connect to your smart meters and stuff. They're already putting that over there. But they've been putting smart meters in the US for how many years now? Because we're next. It's coming to the United States here soon. And so this is what's been going on with this. The app, the EquiWatt app, will send, again, push messages during peak hours, basically saying, oh, this is a peak hour. We need you to, we recommend that you turn these off or you don't run these appliances and stuff. They're going to start sending you guilt messages, guilt bombs. Or if that's not enough, it will connect to your smart outlets, EV chargers, and your other smart systems and automatically shut them off. So you can connect this app to, I mean, a lot of people have their homes decked out with everything smart where they can run everything from their phone. Well, if you have that, this app will basically now, you can set it to where during peak hours and stuff, it'll just automatically turn things off on your home. This is exactly what they want. Soon, they're giving you the option now, but soon they're going to do it where everything is connected. This is where that Internet of Things comes into play. I know, me talking about the Internet of Things again, but that's where this comes into play, where everything is going to be connected, and all they have to do is just push the button to turn it off. They're going to do that with these homes and all of this stuff. They can do that if you have a smart meter. You know, their social credit score isn't high enough. Just go ahead and turn it off. That's what they're working on. That is what's happening with this. Now, I'm trying to get through this, guys. I know, a lot to cover. So that's what's going on with that stuff. Now, this will attach to the social credit score and the digital ID. We haven't talked about digital ID in a while. I mean, digital ID was one of those things that was hammered to death for a while, and now everybody has stopped talking about them, but there's some interesting things that have been happening with this. We're seeing a full court press for the digital IDs in multiple avenues. We're seeing digital IDs for climate, so your carbon footprint. We're seeing IDs for medical, vitamin passports. We're seeing it with the CBDCs, basically recording all your transactions. We're seeing it with security, cybersecurity, an identity system and database. That's right. They want to keep you all in their digital database. And then my personal favorite, digital ID for convenience. All-in-one scan system. So you don't have to have a wallet with all these things. You don't have to have all these different cards, all this different paperwork. Just one nice convenient little phone card, soon an imprint on right hand, forehead. You just scan it and you're good to go. It's killing you with convenience. By placing your entire life and identity in one digital package, you have the groundwork for Mark of the Beast. Say it with me, class. Mark of the Beast. You will officially be plugged into your Internet of Things profile. Right now, we just have a digital profile of us out there, but soon they want to connect us with that. That's your transhumanism. That is pairing man with machine. And a lot of people are thinking that's just talk. I mean, we've been talking about that forever. Nothing seems to be happening. Nothing seems to really be coming about with it. Well, check out Pekka Lundmark, who is the CEO of Nokia. Here's what he's got about this.
I wanted to ask when you all think we're going to move from this form factor to something that's on your face, glasses, and when computing's all on the edge.
All right, 50 seconds. Who wants to answer quickly?
I think it will go. It will. First of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
He's talking about I mean, I had to listen to it a couple times to make sure I understood what he said. He's talking about 6G. Right now we're on 5G. But he's talking about 6G, where it will get rid of the smartphone platform as we know it, and things will be in us. That is the transhumanism side of things. He's talking about, I mean, he talks about the phone, which right now, your digital ID and all that stuff that they're working on is on your phone. They want to get rid of the phone aspect of that and just put it on you. They want to make you cattle. Or like what you do with dogs or whatever, those little microchips, they want to do the same thing with you. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff out there. It's not going to be the RFID chip, guys. I mean, it's not going to be that. So don't even think that that's going to be the problem. So it's going to be something a lot different. I mean, there's the different quantum dot tattoo stuff out there and everything. There's other much more advanced stuff that can store more data, it's much smaller, much less invasive. That's what they're going to be going for with this type of thing. But he just told you, that's the CEO of Nokia. And he just told you that they're going to get rid of the phone and they're going to put it in you. I mean, this is stuff that we've talked about, but not very often do we actually hear them admit. I mean, we've heard Klaus Schwab talk about it all the time. I mean, Uncle Klaus over there is eating his bugs, well, getting us to eat the bugs. But that's what they're working on. And like I said, you will officially be plugged into your Internet of Things profile. Healthcare, finance, telecommunications, government IDs, social platforms, commerce, mark of the beast, travel, and food. All that's just going to be a part of it. The only thing not on that list, that's a list directly from the WEF, by the way. The only thing not on that list is not making you human anymore, which we know that's the other aspect of the mark of the beast. Can't be saved if you're not human. That's just how it works. And so all of that is going to be happening. They're definitely telling you about it. You, your devices, your city, and your acquaintances will all be connected to you. That is that Internet of Things. They will control it all. Ultimately, the Antichrist, he'll control it all. It's part of the beast system with that. So the other aspect of this that they're working on, they are also creating battery passports. Battery passports. The Global Battery Alliance is founded by the WEF, which allow them to have full tracking on electric cars. It will allow them to track the electric cars and attach it to your ID and also apply the EV tax. And we've talked about how they want to start because they're trying to get rid of gasoline. Well, they're not just going to let the gas tax go away. No, they're going to start charging you for owning an electric vehicle. That's part of that. So I've got a short little video on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to get dinged for copyright on this, but we're going to take the risk anyways. So check this out.
The battery gets an ID number, a barcode, and other information which are sent to the digital twin in the cloud. The digital twin holds all the important information about that battery, and the Battery Passport platform holds all of the digital twins from all over the world.
That's about a 3.5 minute video, but like I said, I don't know if I'm going to get hit on copyright on that, so I just got a small section, but that should give you enough of what's going on with this. That's right, they're putting a digital ID on the smart car batteries, and they're creating a digital twin. That's the Internet of Things. We have our Internet of Things profile. That's our digital twin. That's what it's called. Well, they're doing the same thing with these electric cars, and they're going to connect it all together. That ID will be attached to your ID, and they'll be able to track all that stuff. In October of this year, 2022, the GBA created the Greenhouse Gas Rulebook. The rulebook, it will create a reporting framework for all things ESG through the battery chain. That includes production to person to destruction, basically. And it'll automatically collect all data on the carbon and sustainability of the car and how it's being used. So that's going to be applied to carbon credit, carbon tracker. They want to know all of that stuff. It will also create a digital twin of the battery, just like our Internet of Things profile that we have of us. All people and things will require a digital twin and ID, according to the WEF and the WTO, World Economic Forum, World Trade Organization. Every person and thing will require a digital twin. That means every single person and thing will have a digital ID and an Internet of Things profile. I know a lot of people, again, you're looking at this and you're like, so what, man? That's going to come a lot later. We're not going to have to deal with that. We watch these things because we know that this is going to be applied to every pillar of the Antichrist beast system. We've talked about the religion, we've talked about the economy, and we're talking about the government side of things. All of that is in this. So even things like what they're talking about here, a lot of this stuff is stemming from COP27. All of these things apply to the Antichrist beast system that's coming. We don't want to ignore this stuff. Again, we don't want to, just focus solely on it, but we don't want to ignore this stuff. This is things that we're having. These are things that we can actually see changing out in the world around us. I mean, we can actually watch these things unfold around us. And so don't try and don't have the mindset of, oh, well, that doesn't apply to me, whatever type of thing. I mean, this stuff's important because we're seeing the buildup of this stuff. So you look at that, and this also leads to the WEF's agenda, which is PaaS, PaaS, which is product as a service. Now, this is something that I don't think gets talked about very often. We talk about the agenda famous quote where it's, you will own nothing and you will be happy. That gets talked about a lot, but I don't think people actually understand what that means. Yes, to an extent, that means they're going to rob you blind of everything that you own. To an extent, which that's kind of what that pushes to. But that actually, that saying that gets used a lot, you will own nothing and you'll be happy, actually stems from this WEF agenda that is product as a service. This is the aspect of, you're not going to own anything, you're going to basically rent it. The product is going to become a service. This is best explained by Franz von Hutent on the circular economy thing. Check this out.
In circular economy business models, I would like products to come back to me as the original designer and manufacturer. And once you get your head around that notion, why would I actually sell you the product if you are primarily interested in the benefit of the product? And maybe I can stay the owner of the product and just sell you the benefit as a service.
So when that line of you will own nothing and you'll be happy is said, they're talking about this. And this WEF agenda piece has been this has been something that they've been working on for over a decade. They want to just sell you services. So you will own nothing. And when you have that Mark of the Beast, digital ID, carbon tracker, CBDC, all of that stuff, you may have money available, but again, it could be as simple as, well, we're not going to allow you to purchase anything because your social credit score. We're not going to allow you to rent our stuff. We're not going to allow you to use our product as a service. They're taking this from multiple avenues. They can turn off your money. They can take your money. They can control you through your carbon footprint, through your carbon credit system. They can lower your social credit score so you can't do anything, and you're not going to own anything because everything is going to be rent a something. Like we've got the rent-a-centers out there and whatnot. Everything is going to be rented. The house, your car. I don't know if are they really going to want their insect products back after we eat them? I don't think they're going to want that back. So maybe you will actually own that. I don't know. That just got really gross, but I don't think they want that back. But you get the point that I'm trying to make. They're hitting this from all angles, but this big one is the PaaS, product as a service. You will not own the product. You will simply just rent it out. By placing digital IDs on everything, they can track and control whatever you have. So if you're renting something, if there's a digital twin of it, they can track and control whatever that is, including shutting it off and taking it away. That's why they want a digital twin of not only people, but things, because if you're renting everything of theirs, they want a way that they can track that and turn it off and take it away. That's what all this is about. You take a look at this. This is a quote. It says, everything you considered a product has now become a service. This is Ida Auken from her Welcome to 2030, I Own Nothing, Have No Privacy, and Life Has Never Been Better book, which is 2016. Ida is a WEF young global leader and a Danish MP. It's interesting that she's a Danish MP because if you look at what's going on over there, they're trying to implement the tracking system for anybody who spends over 100, is it pounds? I think they use pounds over there. But over 100 of whatever currency that they use, they're pushing that forward. So very interesting that that's going through. She also has said it's the breakthrough of the circular economy. That is what's going on with that. So again, I understand that this stuff is in the future and the church is going to be raptured, most likely, before any of this stuff gets implemented. But that does not mean that we just turn a blind eye. That doesn't mean we just hide under a rock and not look at this stuff. The COP27 is a big thing that is happening right now, and it's a big talking point in the prophecy world. But we cannot ignore these other things that are going to be happening in the future. I mean, we just took a long trek. This is the main stuff that they've been talking about, but we just took a long trek. We went from the religion side of it to what they're doing with the youth side of it, to how the carbon has now become a currency, the digital IDs of things, the circular economy, all of this stuff. I mean, we just took a long trek. That's everything that they're talking about at COP27. All of this stuff is happening. And again, while it may not affect us now, it's important that we pay attention to that. And the last thing I want to talk about has to do with that. Encouragement for, I know some of you in the chat, I actually know some of you in the chat get made fun of and mocked for watching the signs and talking to people about the signs. And I just want to give you guys some encouragement on that. I'm not, some speaker. I'm not a pastor or anything. I can't pull stuff out of my back pocket to try and, play that role. I will never pretend to be a pastor. Just like Forrest Gump, I'm not the smartest man, but when it comes to this stuff, a lot of people say it's conspiracy theory. A lot of people say you're wacko, you're crazy, all that stuff. And these are even people who call themselves Christians. The modern church nowadays, which we know the modern church has been infiltrated by mystery religion. I did see you guys' chat. Semiramis is her name. That is mystery, whore of Babylon. So yes, you did get that correct. I did see that. She's infiltrated the church, and the mocking and scoffing that the scripture tells us that we're going to face. The mocking and scoffing is not just going to be coming from people outside of the church, non-Christians and whatnot. We're getting a heck of a lot of that, I'll tell you that much. But it's going to be coming from people in the church. Do not let that waver your faith. That is the most important part of it. I could say, don't let it get to you. Don't let it depress you or anything, which pray that doesn't happen. But the biggest part of it is don't ever let it waver your faith. We all do it. Many people aren't going to admit it, but we all do it, where every once in a while the thought of, man, is he really coming, pops into our head, or the thought of, are we sure the rapture is real? Just a little doubts like that. It's interesting. We were just on Sunday, we were watching, can't remember the guy's name. It was a new guy. But we were talking about Peter walking out on the water and how he was walking across that water like he owned the joint until he took his eyes off the Lord, until he started doubting, and then he fell. And the Lord said, you have little doubt. And the Lord wasn't, being mean to him or calling him a name or anything. He was just saying, hey, you doubted me for a little second, and you fell. Yeah, I'll throw this up so people know what I'm talking about. Brett Meter. And the same can be applied. That same thought can be applied to us who watch, to those who watch. It's we cannot let the mocking and the scoffing cause doubt in why we watch, the reason that we watch, and the fact that the rapture is biblically sound teaching. It's displayed all throughout the Bible in different ways. If you want to look at what happened with Noah and take a look at what happened with Lot, and you take a look at what happened with all that stuff, it's got multiple variations. The Jewish wedding, it all is together on that. And so when we go about and we get made fun of, we get poked and prodded, even by the people closest to us, family, friends, fellow church members, it doesn't matter. Do not let your faith waver. Do not let that doubt creep in. It's going to happen. We're human. It's going to happen. But you pray that it gets squashed immediately, because we are doing exactly what we are being called to do. He tells us to watch for his return, to wait, to be prepared. And when we watch and we look at the things going on right now, a lot of people think, oh, you're just looking at news. This is just things happening throughout the day and stuff like that. If you look through the lens of Bible prophecy, you can easily pick out what type of news is happening, how it applies to what's going on. And so when we watch these things and we talk about them and we share them, we're doing exactly what we're being told to do, what we're commanded to do. We are preparing for his return. That doesn't mean we're preparing the earth for the Lord to bring the kingdom down. But this is not kingdom now theory, which is completely unbiblical, and it's straight heretical, really. So don't be confused with that. But we are preparing for him to come and get us. We're watching. It's like the servant waiting for the master. One was ready, one wasn't. It's the same thing. And so it's very important that we continue to do what we do, whether you're here watching me, which I always appreciate that, or watching Tom and what he's doing, or watching JD with what he does, Billy Crone, watching those guys that are fantastic, biblically sound guys that keep us updated on what's going on out there. All in different aspects, all with different viewpoints. It's fantastic. And so lean on each other for us. And I hope that relationship is being built for those in the chat. I know we've got our regulars here, and then there's some that are here more than others. We've got some lurkers that I know watch that don't say anything. Build a relationship with you guys, between you guys. Find out how to connect with each other so you guys can lean on each other in these times. When things get hard, when people are mocking and scoffing you, there's that relationship. There's that relationship that you guys can hold together with. So I want to encourage you guys, don't let that... he told us it was going to happen. Don't let that stuff waver your faith. I know I've said that a bunch of times, but I really want you guys to hear me on that. Hold that faith. No matter how hard it gets, the trials and the tribulations that you go through, hold it. And as difficult as it might be, have joy through it. Thank the Lord for these things, because you're going to come out even stronger on the other side, but it's going to bring glory to God in some way. All things for the glory of God. He's going to use this in some positive way. Don't stop sharing the gospel. Don't stop sharing the times that we're in. Continue to warn people. My best thing is, and I've done it before, where I've tried sharing something with somebody before, and they said, "Oh, you're nuts. You're da-da-da-da-da." And all I said was, well, did you know that this other stuff was happening? I just continued to share with, I continued to warn. So the blood's not on my hands. I'm telling people what's going on. So don't let it waver your faith. Stay the course and continue to do what he commands us to do. He is coming soon. And we need to take every opportunity that we can to share what is happening. You'll be amazed at who you can reach when you apply biblical prophecy with the events happening in the world today. Opens up the door for the gospel to be spread and for a soul to be saved. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. I am going to leave it right there. So continue to hold faith no matter how hard it gets. So, all right. So with that, same usual spiel stuff. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you got people that got questions or anything like that, get them this video or any other podcast out there if they've got questions. I try and break up the clip videos. If there's one specific thing that you want to send to somebody, I try and make it available the best I can. So like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Make sure you follow me on Rumble, Odyssey, and Telegram. Rumble and Odyssey for when the inevitable end of YouTube for me happens, and then Telegram for everyday up-to-date breaking news, all that stuff. Make sure you're on there. If you feel led to, there are donation links down below, various forms that you can give if you feel like you should or want to in some way. That is available. And I think that's it. So, yeah. I think I'm going to leave you guys here, and Lord willing, I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Lord Jesus, please come soon. Maranatha. Peace out, guys.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.